So this is a much more personal story about healing stress. I talk a lot about healing stress. It's my life mission to help the world heal from stress, one person at a time. But something quite surprising happened on this journey to healing stress, something very unexpected. And it was in that conscious connection. And it happened very early on, actually. I wasn't aware of what it was I was experiencing, but over the years it's made sense. And it's that connection to God. And I say it even now, I'm surprised because I don't come from a religious family and I'm not somebody who's very keen on religion at all, actually. I feel often it divides more than it unites. And I'm all for unity. I'm all for humanity, the human experience. As I started to reconnect through meditation, and I hadn't understood it as that while I was doing it, this is very early on. As I started to reconnect, I suddenly became aware of so much, of receiving so much information. And I was sitting there in meditation, literally as I started this process, as I started this journey, I should say. And I'd get these downloads of information and it all made sense. And I had no idea where I was getting it from, but I had to get up and write it down. And from that moment, very early on in my journey of healing stress, I was sharing what I was learning. And I was accessing something in that connection. And I say that I've developed this process of healing stress intuitively, but it was in that conscious connection that I understood I was receiving guidance. It wasn't only saying my body communicating, look here, it was saying reconnect and find what you're looking for within. And so my path to healing stress became a very personal spiritual path of awakening to the truth of who I am. That's that authentic expression that I feel we all have inside of us, and we're either conditioned out of it or we lose it in that disconnect in stress. And maybe many of you watching this post are already very connected and free in who you are and authentically expressing who you are. I understood that I was part of something much bigger. Now, this isn't new. But again, for me, it was quite an alien concept. I come from a family who are not religious at all. In fact, they lost their faith because of religion, or at least in their stress. They lost their faith in that disconnect. And so this was not part of my upbringing. And it was a very unexpected find. As I reconnected in meditation, and it really was to calm my nervous system and to heal stress, I became aware that I was connecting to something more, something much more. And through this connection, I was accessing so much information. And from that point, from that moment, I've been following my inner guidance, my intuition, in that conscious connection. Through the signals that I'm receiving, my body's communicating. Because again, intuition, it's a feeling. Okay, it comes through the body, at least that's where I access intuition. And it's in that conscious connection. And it really was an unexpected surprise. It was really confusing for quite some time because I really got to rock bottom. My health, my relationship in life, everything was falling apart. And I feel now for a reason. I was being guided back home, back to the truth of who I am. Back to that conscious connection, back to trusting in what I can feel. That's the inner guidance. And it's so much more than your body showing you how to heal. It's a connection to something much bigger. You can call it the field of intelligence, the quantum field, consciousness, higher intelligence, source, the universe, God. It's really up to you. But that's what I found in this connection, in consciousness. And as I feel it and as I see it, we're all part of this fabric of consciousness. And the only thing that separates us is in that disconnect. The disconnect in the mind. We're often lost in thought. We live solely from the level of the mind. We're not connected. In a sense, we're not consciously connected to what we feel. We're in that disconnect that stress creates. Stress separates. And in that separation, we lose our connection to consciousness. And as you, at least this is my experience, as I was consciously reconnecting, I understood how everything is connected and how I am connected to everything. And it's much, much more than that. And it's a journey that I believe is a very personal exploration, a spiritual journey, a path of awakening. And again, it's unique to each of us because we're all having a unique experience through what we feel, through what the body's communicating. And so I wanted to share that because I can see now how I was being guided right from the start. It's always been there. Everything that you're looking for and everything I was looking for was always within, in that conscious connection. And there is so much to be found there. Everything is found there. In this way, as you learn to connect, consciously connect, you're going to be guided through what you feel. And in that way, I believe we can truly find what is personally fulfilling through listening to and learning to trust what you feel, to trust your intuition. And that's a process in itself because there's a lot of nuance there. But what I've found is that I've been guided back to health, well-being, to a sense of self, and to a path where I'm starting to trust, well, for a long time now, but I trust my inner guidance. And it's bringing into balance. There's always balance. There's balancing from living from the heart, but in balance with discerning mind, ability to observe, to discern, and to understand what is truth. And again, there's a lot of nuance in that. And it's learning to trust what you feel. And again, whatever it is you're looking for in life, whatever you feel is lacking, whatever you're searching for is in that conscious connection. So for me, healing stress became a very unique spiritual path to awakening, to remembering who I am and my connection to everything. So let me know if that resonates. As always, I'd love to read your comments, your feedback. And if you're interested in exploring this conscious connection and what it means to you, process for healing, for self-discovery, I share that in the link below in my 6-week Alchemy of Stress. So thank you as always for being here. I look forward to seeing you in the next post.